Gravitrons, I'm more gravity. Let's play chess. I'll be playing the first win at, today, or at this broadcast. First win with the 3 minute blitz time setting. Um, if it's a good quality win, I'll review it. We'll make that decision when that occurs. Here we go. All right. Um, that win here is obvious. We just saw it, so I won't go into too much depth. I don't want to leave a. To be honest, I don't want to leave a short uh, broadcast out there. And that is our first win, though. I said I'd be playing the first win, so let's let this calculation finish, or let's go to the last placement and then practice first computer and save some resources by closing this tab while it calculates. And I'll finish this against the computer, and we'll be able uh, to emerge victorious with a strong lead, even against the computer on maximum. We want to be careful not to be too hasty. I'm not liking kingside castles here because of the open G file, and I'm thinking I might take away the B5 square away from white, and then in some variations I'll be castling queenside, uh, forcing equal value piece trades and so on doesn't look like the way to go, because after knight to h5, bishop is probably to e3 or maybe d2, and then we just have our knight kind of stuck there without much to say for himself, except, nope, we're going to try this because of this idea. When the bishop, if the bishop were to go to d2, pawn, bishop to, if here, bishop to d2, and then bishop to g5, and we're really limiting our opponent's bishop. You have to go back to e1, and with that kind of extra space, it's worth it. But anyway, the computer played knight d5 a little more active. We're going to trade pieces, trade equal value pieces, went up material. The knight's going to capture on f4. I'm worried about that. Yeah, that there's a outpost for white's knight at d4, so we'll have to bear that in mind. Alright. Not doing very well. Let's go back. Here. Not review. Okay, here we go. Alright, we're here with black to move. Here with black to move, sorry. Castle. Alright, so I'm thinking to sacrifice the exchange on d5, and when my opponent captures back, he'll capture back the torch will capture back with bishop, and that will leave just a different powerful piece at an outpost on d5. A very powerful minor piece. It will no longer be the knight, it will be the bishop, but it doesn't solve the problem of there being a really overpowered minor piece on the board. So maybe we'll turn our attentions towards shifting the focus of play. That's a stroke of luck. Okay, we got through that without hints or takebacks. I feel proud about that. We had the first and the second attempt where I had to reset all the. I think just the first attempt actually. We reset all the way back to um, the position my opponent resigned. Here I was able to fork queen and king, and we'll go over the whole game in analysis here, based on the game as it were plus practice. So the first 10 moves played out uh, live online, and then watch some of the game I just played if I was more concentrated and not narrating what I was doing. And we'll go over it now. Okay. So I had black. King's pawn opening. Knight's out early. Claims to the center. Activating non-knight pieces. Bishops and queens and so on. And then the king and queen fork. Here, this leaves me ahead in terms of material by 6 points. This is mostly human. So from here on, this is where my opponent resigned before white's 11th move. So this was the final move of the game. And then I played on it against Torch 4 from here. And this is basically just like an odds match. And the computer gave me 6 points. 6 points! And I was able to close it down on my second try. That's what I have to say about that. The computers are very strong. Middle game stuff. We discussed a bit about d5 here. Knight d5. This is an amazing outpost for white. Think about it. The pieces protecting this knight. The pawn and the piece protecting this knight. First of all, there's 2 of them. Second of all, they're both protected by a piece that can renew the protection. I have no light squared bishop to get to this light square. And that's my only minor piece is a dark squared bishop. Even if I finagle a way to trade a rook for the knight, I'm willing to give up the exchange altogether. White can install the bishop on d5. And then it's just a different, very powerful piece. This is not easy. This is not an easy thing for black. For me, you would look to a position like this and think, how come? I mean, honestly, if grandmasters played this position back and forth, I would think that white would do better than most positions where black is ahead by computer to the tune of 4.8. Right? This is a good as far as being down 6 points of material and 4.8 on the progress bar. White is doing well considering that. And this looked at, let's see, what did I do? I played bishop to f4. All right, white's turn to move. I'm gonna say white has the initiative based on that. So that's initiative. Mobility. Well, black has good mobility. We can't deny that. We can't deny ourselves that. Then again, white also has pretty darn good mobility. It includes some of the knight's territory in that, and that when if that knight needs to move for a really strong combination, then the bishop has some mobility. If we're gonna say, we'll say mostly black might have a slight advantage in mobility. Mostly, the h1 rook is a little bit not helpful. It's not helping things very much compared to my worst piece on f8. That there could be an attack coming against f7. Yeah, well, at least my rook's helping with that. All right. Next step, king safety. Black should have. We would think black has better king safety. With this formation, with open G file and with really easy ways to double rooks on the G file, I'm not so sure that that's the case. And there's knight moving in with the check for some reason, and white has a lot of pieces trained against black, and if he can unseat my bishop from h4 in some manner, then the h pawn gets rolling. This looks like black should be soon under the aggression of an attack on his king. So that's black's king safety situation. It's not a bad position. Not bad. Moderate level of king safety. Because we still have the pawn wall, and we got our own pieces around here too. So that's king safety for black. White, is actually fine in king safety because I got a dark squared bishop. He's on a light square. There are mobile pieces which can, in dynamic ways, protect his king. The rooks aren't out of the game in king protection either. Exactly how does black intend to launch an attack anyway? Plus, white has his own attacking ideas against g7. Where does that leave us? Then, time. I'm playing against the computer, so we're not worried. We're not clock. I mean, we're not worried about clock. This game is against Silicon, so and it happens not to be timed or clocked or recorded. It is recorded, but it's not timed nor clocked. So we'll skirt past that. I mentioned about initiative, clock, king safety, mobility, and we have left space and material. Material is a huge deal. Why black is in this game at all is because black has a queen for white's knight, as it turns out. Yeah, black is not otherwise. Black otherwise does not have a game. Have a saying in this game. Okay, so there's a huge 6 points of material. It's a big deal. And space. I'll give a slight edge to black. It's not the main concept for the game. Sometimes space makes more sense in certain games. Space makes more sense than others. This one a little bit, and within that, maybe black has just a little bit of an edge in space. So that's how that turned out. Okay, so that's this is the position after black's 18th move. We'll go forward a bit. I gotta take time out, my friends, to explain King G8 to H8 here. I'm really glad that I can make such a move, and reassured by the computer's approval of that move as the computer best move. This is not how I used to play chess. To play King to G8 here. This is an improved version of Jordan's chess abilities. Let me explain. King to H8 here just steps out of a huge number of white's attacking ideas. The black king is so much safer on H8 that it's it is important to take time out to do this. And I've heard grandmasters say, um, there's one of the most famous players. I can't recall who, but um, he said, that's all right. He said that the attack begins when the king moves to the corner, or something along those lines. And so this move, king to h8, is not. It's mostly about king safety. And sometimes you need to take one tempo out, one move out, one tempo of initiative out to make your king more safe, and then you can launch the attack. That's not exactly what happened in this game, but this is a feature of some uh, great attacking chess. It is the right move. That it doesn't seem like it would be, but it is. We're putting our king all the way in the corner there. All right, so set up this rook on e4 in case of something like I don't know. We wouldn't see this from computer, but it's some kind of like this is it's more of a bishop to b5, then queen takes d5, utilizing the pin on the e4 pawn. That's not likely to happen against Torch 4, in my opinion, so we'll move on anyway. And yeah, then rook to e5. My goal here is to sack the exchange. That's also something that I wouldn't have done 5 or 10 years ago as a player back then. So that's good. Bishop e3. It's a little bit of a lure. So a strong positional chess player is not going to play knight takes e3 like Torch eventually did. I'm keeping sort of the rook where it is. I'm keeping the rook on the board and without it capturing the knight on d5. Because I believe this lure might get white might play knight takes e3, and then I keep my exchange on top of whatever other material lead I had, and maintain a 6-point material lead. Rook to g4 is good. That's the best move there. It's kind of double, probably with rook h2, then rook g2, or manufacture a win of a pawn by playing rook to e1. And there we got it. The Torch took on e3, captured on e3, and black's kind of off the hook now. Yeah. And we're pretty safe at this point. I chose b5 here. I was wondering a little bit about pawn b6, but then why would we really want to give white reason to throw his c pawn forward, and then a b takes c, b takes c. I mean, we still got the queen. We're still gonna win that, but why make it easier? Why make it hard on ourselves? Pawn to b5. I really like this again in my own play for my own reasons. King g7. We don't have to go crazy with sweeping queen movements quite yet. King f7. He's going to slowly move in here. King e6. Rook back to h3. A check on white's king. Picking up a pawn. And that's just a free pawn due to patience. So I feel good about myself as a result. I'm more patient on the chessboard. I can bring that to the world as well. what you learn on the chessboard, it's best to know and learn, cement it, and then apply it to your life outside, to your life out and about in the real world. That doesn't mean you go throwing rooks at people, but I got an extra pawn out against this against white by using just whatever my route, a bit of patience, a little bit of patience. Opportunism. Queen takes a6 check. The time was for the queen to capture with check, and that's opportunism. It don't always have to be that. Opportunism kind of has some negative connotations. It doesn't have to. Okay, so now we're pushing forward and forward. The computer wants to have my king pushed around. And then c3 here. This is one of those computer moves that you wouldn't see a human play this. I mean, if a human were playing on at this point and with white to move, we're most certain of rook h1. Instead, the computer chose c4, and that, in my view, in the way I view the board, the way I view chess, simplifies things in black's favor a little bit. Then the queen is definitely coming to h1, and we're definitely getting a rook for a pawn, rook for two pawns really, but that leaves black with a queen and a pawn on the board, a queen, a pawn, a king on the board against a king and double pawns, and that kind of very straightforward, right? And isn't that straightforward, right? Okay. Fantastic, George. Fantastic. I'm really, even if it was against computer for the, last 59 out of 69 moves, I'm gonna think of how to post this to Facebook. I know how to post this to Facebook, but what to say with it, I'll probably post this to Facebook and make it clear that that it's not all with the same opponent. I don't want to be putting moves in someone's mouth. They say don't put words in someone's mouth. Well, I don't want to be putting moves in someone's mouth either. And I'm not exactly sure when I'll do that, but probably before the end of the day. This is a while later, right? We said we were going to play till first win. And then I won, but the after party eclipsed the party. So I better head to a good hotel soon. Anyway. Anyway. Oh, where's this? Oh, here it goes. I have this sort of, the pieces play the game ghostly wise, or in a ghostly manner in the background here. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Gravitrons. I'm more gravity. Have a great night.